How are you?
I like the laugh he does in there. Did you hear that? He goes,
yeah. It's I'm not sure if the youngsters of the world have seen the Meatloaf docu music video. It's a long form video which is very dramatic of that song, and Meatloaf is like he's the monster from
yes,
and they're
yeah,
chasing him down,
like
and
Beauty and the Beast or
like Beauty and the Beast.
Hunchback. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's where I pulled that from very quickly as we got started. Because I was not prepared. Yeah. And he laughs at the end. He would do anything for love.
The youngsters also missed the many discussions about what he was talking about, what he won't do, and making it into something dirty.
No, I never heard that either.
That was just in my circles, I guess.
It's just in your circles. Well, Kimberly and I are here to talk about a new show on TLC. This is Forbidden Love, Season 1, Episode 1. I Do Anything for Love is the name of this episode. And yeah, every week I'm going to get the episode title is going to be the song because I looked it up and it's going to be all 80s songs.
I love it.
We've got Tainted Love coming up. I'm very excited about the song. Listen, I get very excited about show titles.
I know you do.
I do.
You like to analyze.
Mm-hmm. I do. And this is a good one. I Do Anything for Love, including maybe having sex with a horse, question mark?
That's what Meatloaf wouldn't do.
Meatloaf drew the line at bestiality.
As he should.
Well, I mean, his name is Meatloaf. So, I mean, you can't be that discerning. Is Meatloaf still with us? Is Meatloaf alive?
No, I feel like he passed.
I feel like he passed too. And I feel like there was another 80s.
2 years ago.
Oh, there was another 80s singer, female singer that was in that video as well. That was dramatically singing back to him.
You're right.
I can't remember who it was. It was enough for me to pull that up and get it ready while we were supposed to be recording 13 minutes ago. And I was like, oh, let me pull up that song. Are you looking to see who was in the video?
I'm trying.
Yeah, I just watched it, and it was like the cops were coming after him. And he was like
Crosby.
Oh, don't know her. He was like in a sewer, and the cops are coming after him, and the flashlights are going back and forth, and he was running through the sewer for his lover, Lorraine Crosby.
Yeah, it was like a full-on action movie.
Yeah. Guys, go look that up, or don't. I mean, whatever.
I think they should.
I think you should. If you're a youth of the world, you would have to see what we had to endure.
Mm-hmm.
And that was probably like appointment television too. Like when Michael Jackson's Thriller came out, we all just sat in front of the TV and waited for it to come on.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Well, you might have been too young, but that's
I don't really remember. But I was going with it.
Yeah. I was in high school, and MTV announced, when the video was going to be. So it was like a Friday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I remember like going to my friend Allison's house, and we sat in front of the TV and like waited for it to come on.
I love
the Thriller video. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Those were the days, people. Those were the days before we figured out how to program our VCR.
Missing out. Yeah. It always said 12:00 and then it flashed.
Yeah. And I would sit there with the manual and figure out how to program the time. Mm-hmm. So then I could program the recording.
Mm-hmm.
But your TV had to be on channel 3. Then you had to set the VCR to the channel you wanted to record.
My mom messed that up for me so many times.
And
I was in a constant state of mad at her.
And then what if like you were watching TV and it clicked on to record a different channel, then it would switch the channel. And then the person watching TV would be like, I don't know why I did that, and switch it back to another channel. And then chaos would ensue.
The fights that happened, you all are so lucky. You don't even know.
You don't even know. You don't even know what we had to go through.
We lived through TiVo.
Yeah. I never had a TiVo.
My friend. I loved my TiVo.
I thought TiVo was great. I was like, who would pay for that? That is crazy.
Me.
Yeah. My friend Mary had one, and I just thought she was like super rich.
I still pay for cable because I love a DVR. I don't know why. I can watch everything on streaming. But
let me tell you about the DVR. Okay. Because I love a DVR too. So last night was Sunday night. And normally, we've got our 90-day shows on. And then this show was on last night as well, replacing MILF Manor. And I noticed that my DVR wasn't recording 90-day Happily Ever After. Because I was trying to watch everything last night and get all my notes
Mhm.
written. And I noticed it wasn't recording it. I was like, that's weird. I mean, I had it on my computer, so it didn't matter, but I was like, that's weird. And then somebody wrote in the Facebook group today, the same thing happened to them. My DVR said 90 days to wed, happily ever after, instead of 90 Day Fiance. So my DVR didn't record it, but it was the 90 Day Fiance show, but they
I
like
can't do
changed the
that.
name, so
I can't.
screwed everybody's DVR.
Yeah, I'm pissed off.
90 Days to Wed, huh? What?
No, that's
That's not,
ridiculous.
that's not the
Get
name
your
of the
act
show.
together.
TLC, I blame you.
And I have been missing out on Pillow Talk for the past month since I moved into this apartment because
Right.
the cable doesn't give me Pillow Talk. It doesn't give me TLC. And I need to go
Yeah.
to my parents' house to watch to Pillow Talk because I love Pillow Talk.
I know you really do. You're a
It's
big
not,
fan.
I can't even find it online. It's not on
No.
the app.
Mm-mm. I don't know why they don't put Pillow Talk on.
They sometimes do. They did in the past. Not now. Now, when Kimberly moved into a new apartment, you should have to pay $70 more a month to get Pillow Talk. I love Pillow Talk, but not $70 a month worth.
No, I don't even like it. $7 a month worth. No, I agree. Well, let's talk about this new show. Okay, it's Forbidden Love, guys. It's on TLC. It is on Sunday night after 90 Day, the other way, which Kimberly and I are covering over on the free feed. So it's going to be good. So far, I liked it. I really was. When you get a new show, you have to study it a little more. You don't get to write the notes quite as fast. But I was enjoying the ride of this one. I really was.
I was surprised at how interesting the couples are.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So let's get started. We'll start with Lindsey, age 34. She's English, also known as just American. And Elmer is 23 and he's Amish. Okay. So
So
first of
she's
all,
11 years older than him.
that's point number one that is never discussed.
It should be.
She's 11 years older than him and very experienced in the world. And he is like a brand new colt just out of the barn.
Yep.
The
power dynamic is completely off.
I agree with that. It's interesting how they met. So we open up, they're in Russell's Point, Ohio. Now, immediately I looked up Amish in Ohio. I didn't realize, I guess in my mind, the Amish are only in Pennsylvania. I mean, I just don't know enough,
Yeah.
But there's a big Amish population in Ohio.
Who knew?
Who knew?
They knew. They were there. But
everybody out there is like, duh.
Duh.
So she's flossing his teeth. And she's trying to show him how to do it for himself. And also she's trying to show him how to brush his teeth properly. And she's bitching to him about making a mess in the bathroom. And did you put your deodorant on? You got to remember to do it every day. This is real mom and son vibes here.
It's horrible.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's like pediatric dentist vibes.
So he tells us he's from Kenton, which I guess is Kenton, Ohio. And he says being Amish, it's like living in the 1800s. There's no electricity, no technology, there's no plumbing, no cars. And he says for the last 6 months, he's been married to this English woman who is teaching him a hell of a lot. And he picked up on the cursing.
Very fast.
Very fast. And he explains that every person outside of the Amish world is called English. And she's like, yeah, you have to teach an Amish man everything, including flushing the toilet and foreskin care. Then she talks about that for a minute, to which I say, TMI.
I didn't need to hear any of that.
Me either.
He's
just like,
I don't want to picture that he doesn't flush the toilet like Gino. I can't. What's with the men on TLC? Flush the toilet.
It's not hard. There's a little thing right there. You just push it down. And he says, yeah, I was a good little Amish boy until I met this sexy model here. And as an Amish, you were taught that if you marry an English girl, you'll be shunned because they are evil. They are the devil. But he met her and he took a bite of that forbidden fruit. Now, I'd be interested to know if he ever went and did a Rumspringa. I guess not.
She is her vagina is his Rumspringa.
And maybe other vaginas, we'll find out. Yeah. She says their love story is like a bad porno. A hot roofer showed up at her house. She let him in. He's no Magic Mike, but he's Amish Elmer. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. So then we see some modeling photos of Lindsey. So I guess maybe she is a model. I don't know how much modeling you can do in that area of Ohio, or if that's her part-time job and she works for the JCPenney catalog. I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed a little sexy for the JCPenney catalog.
She is very pretty.
Yes.
She is.
Very revealing.
I imagine she's got some other kind of job, though, but we don't know what it is.
Would hope she's get that money, get on OnlyFans, do something.
True. And he says, when I met her, she was so gorgeous, like I couldn't even talk. And then, one night when I was done working on the roof, she invited me inside. And then she said, the couch is not very comfortable. Let's go to the bedroom. And she said, yeah, I assumed he was a virgin. But I was surprised because he was really good and he had a lot of energy.
See, that's what makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he was maybe 21 at the time, 22.
Probably 22, yeah.
And she was 33. Mm-hmm. And she knew he was a virgin.
Yeah.
And she knew, I would assume, that it's against his religion.
Uh-huh.
And she seduced him.
Yeah.
And if the roles were reversed, we would be like screaming.
Yeah, the story did seem predatory. It really did. It did. And from when they met to when they got married, it was less than a year. And now she's 2 months pregnant. And she says their kid will not have any weird Amish names. There will be no Elmer Jr.
Yeah.
Okay. Now she's in the car in this sparkly shirt. Elmer is just learning to drive. It looks like he does still work for a roofing company, but he must work for an English roofing company and not an Amish roofing company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he says it's been a huge adjustment for him to be in the English world. And he's learning to drive, which is, she says, is scary.
Because now she's mom of a teenage son learning to drive.
Yeah. Oh, God, you're so right. She says once he got his hands on technology, he became obsessed with it, like including online porn. And she had to put her foot down on it because you can imagine if you have grown up that sheltered and all of a sudden you're given all this technology and you didn't even know what sex was. And now you do, and you can just look it up on this device.
Yeah. I think it happens in every religion. If it's something is so bad and evil and repressed, it's like all you can think about. And they're never taught about sex in a healthy way. So they just go balls to the wall for that's poor expression. But, and some people just have an addictive disposition.
Yeah.
But like if you combine the two, I get it. He's probably on that thing all the time.
All the time. And so the two of them are going to a horse auction, and he says, he buys horses and he fixes them up and sells them, like cars. And all the Amish people, of course, are staring. They're staring at her. They're staring at the cameras that are following them.
She couldn't have worn the most sparkly top. She could have toned it down. She shouldn't have to, though. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. And he sees a cousin or two who literally don't look at him, don't speak to him. And he said his family no longer speaks to him. He goes, it's fucked up. They no longer speak to me. And he says living in the modern world is really great. And he does love Lindsey, but he sometimes misses his old life. And he wonders if he gave up too much for her because now he's completely dead to his family. But sounds like he's doing all right out in the real world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends how you define all right.
It's interesting that they're still in the same area. So he still literally sees people. That's my cousin. That's my cousin. Yeah. And they won't even look at him.
They literally will turn around and face the wall like Blair Witch Project so that they avoid looking at him. That's because that's one of the signs of a cult.
Yes.
If you're not allowed to talk to people, like there's any Amish people listening.
I know.
Like they have a secret iPod or something that they're listening.
I'll tell you that last night, Ingrid was texting me about we put out on Mondays this little, square that says what's going to be on
Yes,
Instagram
I
about
love
what's
the
coming
square. Yeah.
going up this week. And I said, "Oh, don't forget Forbidden Love." She's like, "What? What is this show?" And I just sent her some of the press stuff for it to pull a logo or something. And she goes, "Can we just back up? What is this show? There's an Amish guy on here
Yeah.
dating a girl. The Amish people don't have televisions. I'm so confused." I was like, "I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I don't know."
Yeah.
I was like, "But it
I
seems like
wasn't expecting porn addiction.
no, but like you said, it makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
It makes sense."
But a lot of this dynamic seems to be similar to me to Ethan and Olivia, because at the beginning, I remember like she would video him trying his first Coca-Cola and things like that. So, and she had to teach him a lot of things. So that power dynamic was always kind of there too.
But she grew up in the exact same kind of house. Her family just kind of
she
went.
understood more.
Yeah, they went in and out of it more, where she was allowed to wear certain kind of deodorant and she was allowed to have certain kind of soap and stuff like that. She was allowed some things that the Plaths were just not allowed. So that's why she knew a little bit more. Yeah.
And they were the same age.
And they were the same age, yeah. So at home,
I'm not trying to say Olivia was predatory. I don't think she was at all.
Oh, no, I don't either, no. So at home, she is looking at his phone and she says, "Elmer, have you been looking up porn again?" And he goes, "Yeah.
No, mommy.
No, mommy, I didn't do that." And he says, "Yeah, a couple of days ago I did." And she said, "This was a problem for us and I thought you were over it." And now she's telling him, like, "This is a big deal to me. It really is. I'm very upset. I thought we were done with this." And she says, she thought because she was marrying this like nice Christian boy that it was safe, but he just is proving that a man is a man no matter what.
Oh, she's been hurt before, you can tell.
Yeah.
But also, he can't just get over an addiction. He needs to like get help.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because it's a quick addiction that he found. I mean, he banged this woman one time and he was off to the races.
Yeah.
So maybe he does have an addictive personality, because I mean, this has all been within like 8 months,
Seriously, like some couples are engaged for like 7 years before they get married. This couple got together, had sex, got married, got pregnant, and dealt with a sex addiction
in a
year.
Yeah. And him being shunned from his entire family and learning how to drive a car.
God, that's a lot. I'm like lucky if I like read one book in a year.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. When you're a parent, you'll have your fair share of big talks with your kids. Don't I know it? I've got one that's in their 20s now and one heading off to college. My gosh, there are so many big talks. But one of those big talks should always involve money. Greenlight can help you with that. I've told you guys that my kids had a Greenlight card when they were little, and it was told to me by Ingrid. Producer Ingrid told me about the Greenlight card, suggested my kids get it, and boy, oh boy, was it a game changer. Greenlight is a debit card and a money app made for families. You can send your kids instant money transfers, get real-time notifications of their spending. You can manage their chores and automate their allowance. That's what we did. We said, okay, for every time you take the trash out, we'll give you $1. And then they also, once a week, would look over at their savings, because we were putting half of whatever we gave them into savings. And at the end of the week or at the end of the month, they could be like, hey, all of a sudden I have $30. And they never had it before. They never understood it before. It was fantastic. Your kids are going to build financial literacy and independence by learning to earn, save, and spend wisely. They look at that app and they're like, uh-oh, it's getting kind of low, and they learn to spend wisely. The Greenlight app also comes with an in-app financial literacy game called Level Up. Kids love a game on the phone, right? It's going to help kids build money confidence through videos, bite-sized challenges, mini games, and more. Millions of parents and kids use Greenlight to learn how to make responsible financial choices. So stop putting off the money talk and start putting your kids on the right path. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/pinkshade. That's greenlight.com/pinkshade to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/pinkshade. And he says, look, growing up on Amish was oppressing, and now he's overwhelmed and he's just trying to work on it. She's like, you're not trying to work on it. He goes, I am trying to work on it, and I know it's a problem. And then she tells us that in the past, she would be at home and she was horny, which, by the way, is a word that I really hate.
I really wish there was another word. I thought the exact same thing. I don't like it. Maybe we're
Yes.
too old-fashioned, but I don't like that word. And so there should be another word, like jazzed. I was really jazzed.
I was really jazzed. So she says she would be at home and be really jazzed. And he would go
Sounds a
to,
little bit like jizzed.
and he would go to jack off to porn in a parking lot instead of doing his wife. And she says, that really hurt me. And she says, porn can lead to cheating, and it can lead to an abnormal sex life, because at some point all you want is like your hand and your phone and not a vagina. And he's like, what could be better than a vagina?
Yeah.
And he's just like, what?
She's right, though. It does rewire your brain. Like, that's what studies show. Especially if it's degrading to women. Like, it totally changes your perception of sex and women and all of that.
Scary.
Yeah, it is. No, it really is. Yeah.
And she says, so have you ever hidden anything else from me? Like, you hadn't had any weird thoughts about like a horse's butt. What? And he goes, no. And she goes, do you know people that have done it with animals? And he's like, yeah.
He looks at the camera first, like, I shouldn't say this. I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. He glances over.
But who's he getting in trouble with? Because they can't watch.
No, they're not watching. They might just hear about it.
And in the talking head, he says, the Amish people are so repressed when it comes to sex that they will sometimes have sex with the animal because they don't know what to do with the sexual, with being jazzed. They don't know what to do with it. And he says, if you're 24 and you've never had sex and you're not allowed to do it before marriage, you will find it somewhere.
Oh, that's horrible. It makes me so sad for the animals.
I'm going to have to completely put this conversation out of my mind because it's very upsetting to me.
Yeah.
And she's like, I will divorce you over this. Like, I don't mind being a single mom. Like, I'm not going to live like this. And so he's just like, huh? Now let's move on to Eli, age 32, and Laurie, age 36. He is Orthodox Jewish, and she is Catholic, but not really like religious Catholic. She just grew up Catholic. Now, I'm always fascinated when they showed this on Jewish matchmaking that we covered, Kimberly and I covered here. It's interesting to me, the wrapping of the leather around the arm and the box on the head and it's just so ritualistic, and he does it 3 times a day.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Like, what if you're flying? Do you have to go in the airplane bathroom and do it? Like,
I don't know. That's a good question.
So he says being Orthodox Jewish is like being Jewish on steroids. He goes to temple every day. He prays 3 times a day. And then he explains about the morning hand washing 6 times. Did you know about the morning hand washing?
Yeah, but again, not in
your home.
Not in my home. No. We're not Orthodox.
And he explains about the box on the arm and the box on the head and tying the head to the heart with the scriptures in the little box. I'd love to know about the box, though. Why the box?
It contains prayers or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, but why a box? Yeah, but why a box? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Why not just roll up a little prayer?
It says like bind it upon your arm and bind it but I don't know if it specifically specifies that it's a black box. I don't know where that came from.
It's super interesting to me. Yeah. Super interesting. And he says, being Orthodox Jew is fucking hard, bro. Bro, it's difficult, bro. He says he was taught the most important thing growing up was to marry a Jewish girl. So now we see Laurie. Now, Laurie says she grew up in Boston in a huge Italian Catholic family, and she was very religious growing up. We see pictures of her first communion and all that. But her dad passed away when she was 10, and that made her really hate God. And she stopped going to church. And later in life, I guess not when she was 10, but she made it sound like it was the next week, she became an alcoholic. I was like, when you were 10?
Yeah.
Did you take a break in between? Yeah. she became an alcoholic. She lost her friends. She lost her job. She lost everything. And she ended up meeting Eli in a AA meeting in North Hollywood. Now, how she got from Boston to LA is not explained. Maybe we'll understand what her job is later.
Oh, yeah. We don't know what she does for a living, do we?
Or him either, I guess.
Yeah.
All I know is she's got a banging body, and I was very jealous of it.
Yeah. You could tell she works out a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
Her butt is like one of those.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like she does a lot of squats.
A lot of squats. I don't even think there's enough squats in the world to make my butt look like that. I just don't think genetically it's there for me.
Yeah.
No. So they met at an AA meeting. He was like, oh, yeah, I used to party. I wasn't a good little Jewish boy at all. I drank. I got a lot of tattoos. And they joke that he first talked to her because she was shorter than him. And he doesn't come across a lot of girls shorter than him because he's 5'4". Oh, and because she was like, he's like 5 feet tall. He's like, hey, 5'4" with the bare feet. Come on now. She says she dated him for a while and didn't realize he was Jewish. She wasn't meeting his mom and thought that was weird because she really never thought about it because she thought Jewish guys couldn't have tattoos. Now, is that I guess that is a thing. If you're very strict Jewish, you can't have tattoos?
Yes. That is in the Torah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he's got a lot.
After the Holocaust, it also fell out of favor because they were forced to. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. So I think Muslim guys are also not supposed to have tattoos. We learned that from Rebecca and Zied.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
also, why did she was hidden from his mom for like 6 months.
Yeah. Right.
She should like that. Isn't that an MTV show? Like, why am I being hidden? Why am I in a secret relationship? It's like a Catfish spinoff.
I guess he spoke to his parents about dating her, and they said the only way it's ever going to work with this girl is if she converts. And she says first she was like, no way, I'm not doing that. But then she realizes she does want a life with him. She wants to marry him, so she's going to do it. She's taking the conversion classes, and it's a long, hard process. She's going to have to keep a kosher kitchen, wear modest clothing, learn Hebrew, and know about all the holidays.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's not crazy. The only time I've seen this, I saw this on Shaws of Sunset when Mike's girlfriend, Jessica, that he did end up marrying and divorcing, she converted to Judaism for him. And it was like such a long process.
Yeah, it definitely is a long process. But that's a lot of work. Like learning Hebrew is so hard. Like there's a reason we do it when we're younger. Like because your brain can learn another language easier, but it's so hard.
I can't imagine. I mean, I could barely speak Spanish. And I was fluent in Spanish when I was younger, and now I can't speak it at all.
But Hebrew is completely different characters
than the writing and the numbers.
Writing, yeah, like, it's completely different.
Wow. Can you write and speak in Hebrew?
No, but I can read it. I just don't know what I'm reading.
You can read it, but then you can't read it if you don't know what you're reading.
Great point.
She says there are a lot of rules that she's going to have to follow, and they apply to the women only. And she's not sure she's going to be comfortable with this. She says she'll have to wear the modest clothing. She has to cover her hair with a wig. She will be impure when she's having her period, which means she can't touch, can't pass things to her husband. They can't sit next to each other. No sexual relations. And you're not pure again until you go to the mikvah, which you'll have to do every month. And
yeah, I didn't know about that. That you
did
touch your husband.
Listen, what I know about this is from
hand something to him.
That the TV show Orthodox about the girl, that actress. She was so good, and they show her like on her wedding night, and they shave her head. So I know a lot about it from that show. But yeah, you do have to go. You can't touch, you can't pass things. I think that you're not really allowed to sit at the table with the other person if you're having your period. So
that's gross.
4 to 8 days a month, you can't sit at the table with your husband.
I don't like any of that.
And then you got to go to the mikvah.
Yeah, I don't like any of that.
Yeah, and then you've got to let a strange woman wash you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Once a month for your whole life. That's a lot. It's a lot. She says she's making a lot of changes and sacrifices, and she really doesn't want to lose herself in this, but it's possible that she will. And it's very scary. So Laurie goes to meet with her rabbi. It's Rabbi Block. And she has a one-on-one class with him. And he is the one who will decide when and if she's ready for the conversion test, and he will give the test. And he's asking her questions. And she's trying to like answer, but also trying to joke around. And he's like, you have a lot of work to do.
No.
Like, girl, you ain't ready.
I know Jews are known for having a sense of humor, but not this rabbi.
No, not this guy. Not this guy. And he says, are you committed to dressing modestly? You know, rule 12 or 13 or something. And she goes, yeah. She goes, does that mean no more jeans? And he says, no more jeans. And then she goes, it's going to be hard because she'll have to give up holidays with her family.
See, that I didn't understand because
her family's not Jewish. They would have different holidays.
Yeah, but she could still hang out with them.
She could still go.
Yeah, there's nothing that says you cannot associate with
Christian people.
No.
You know? Yeah. She says, you know, there's praying, there's nonstop studying. And he says it is his job as the Jewish court to discourage her and discourage from a Jew marrying a non-Jew. That's his job. And he says it's also his job to explain to her that it's not easy to become Jewish.
I think that's what he meant by discourage. I don't think he meant like we're trying to get you to not do this.
He said it's frowned upon for a Jew to marry a non-Jew, and it's his job to discourage it and to explain how hard it is. So I guess it's like you have to really you need to really prove
she really wants it. Yeah,
you have to really prove you want to do this,
mm-hmm.
And that's why they're putting you, you know, through these hoops.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he'll set a date for the conversion test once he feels that she's ready. Now, one of the things I've always found the most interesting about the Orthodox Jewish culture is the hair, because the women get wigs that look exactly like their hair that's on their head.
Yeah.
And then when they take their wig off, it's the exact same hair underneath.
They like their style. They've stuck with it. I would go for something totally different. If you're going to wear a wig, go for something totally like different color, different style, play around.
So that's what I really don't understand, because I guess I don't know if the idea is to hide your head has to be covered for God, or if you're hiding your hair from other men. I don't know which is the reason that they hide the hair.
I'm not sure. And I know you're supposed to wear something on your head to remind you of God and to put something between you and God so that you know you're not equal with God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you wear something on your head, like when you go to temple. So I'm not sure if the like a yarmulke, and I'm not sure if the women wear the wigs all the time.
They wear them all the time unless they're in their own home.
So then that makes me think it is so men won't see your hair.
Yeah, but then your wig looks exactly like your hair.
Right.
Somebody explain it to us. Okay.
To signal they are married. No, wait. And to comply with traditional notions of modesty and propriety. Covering their hair is to show that they are behaving with a higher level of modesty than single women, and that their hair is private for their husband. Yeah.
Okay. But everybody knows what your hair looks like because your wig looks just like your hair. I don't get it. Because those wigs, and we saw this on Jewish matchmaking too, the wigs are so good. Like you wouldn't even know they're wigs some of the times. Although I'm always studying. I'm so fascinated by the wigs. Let's move on to Ashley, age 31, who's Catholic, and Mohammed, who's 30, who's Muslim. Ashley is from Jefferson City, Missouri, and Mohammed is from Rochester, New York. Hey, go over and see our girl.
I was just thinking that. Go and have some fake panic attacks on the freeway.
With Ashley and Manuel. Yeah. So she says, her area in Missouri is very white. It's very Catholic. It's very Bible thumping. And most women just marry a local Christian guy and don't move. And that's what's expected. So people were very surprised when she met this guy and married him, and he's Muslim. They met on a dating app. He was in Rochester, New York, and she went to see him after a few months of talking every day. And after a week, she went home, quit her job, moved to Rochester, and married him a day later. And less than a year later, they had their daughter, Rosie. Rosie seems to be 1.5 years old. She seems to be toddling around. Yeah. So she's sitting around with her mother and her sisters. And her sister, Kelly, says, yeah, we warned you. We warned you about Mohammed. You should get to know him better before you marry him. And then she tells us, I was shocked because Ashley is American and raised Christian, and she's a very strong, opinionated, independent woman. What does her being American have to do with anything?
Nothing. He's American too.
He's American too. He's lived here 10 years.
I can't.
So the mom, whose name is Julie, mom was really something.
Mom, I can't. I was waiting for you to say something. She has the most, can I speak to the manager hair I've ever seen.
Yes. She was bringing back that Kate Gosselin. Yes.
It's so high. There was a perch for her sunglasses to sit on it.
Yes. Yes. So her mom is Julie, and she says to Ashley, I was concerned about you marrying that Muslim guy because of what I'd seen on the news. Because they said, this is not what she said. This is just what I heard. Yeah. She says, they said a woman could be killed for not wearing a hijab. I was like, oh no, Julie, please stop talking. Julie, stop talking. Don't worry, it gets worse. And and Ashley says when she first moved to Rochester, her family was worried about her, and they called the police to check on her. And the police got there and saw her name on the door and was like, oh, they said you're here visiting, but your name is on the door, so clearly you live here. She was like, yeah, my family knows that I live here, that I haven't gone missing, right?
Oh my God.
And her sister Jennifer has been the most vocal about not liking Mohammed, and she's called him a terrorist behind his back. So surprise, surprise, Mohammed doesn't want to speak to Jennifer anymore.
Why did Ashley tell Mohammed that Jennifer called him a terrorist? She didn't have to do that.
She didn't have to do that. And a lot of times,
I shouldn't be blaming Ashley. It's obviously Jennifer's problem that she said something so horrific. But Ashley could have not said it. Do you see?
Yes. Did you just log on in a third place?
No, it just let me I share a picture of the mom's hair.
Oh, wait. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't know how this works. Let's see. Oh my God.
Lynn, look at her face. She's so unhappy. Can I speak to the manager?
Wow. I don't understand about sharing a screen and stuff, so I'm really happy that you just did that. Thank you. So mom says, I think about saying the terrorist thing. No, she absolutely shouldn't have told her. But I think sometimes you get into a conversation and you get a little comfy and then you say things and later on you're like, oh man, I should have never told him that.
That's really comfy.
Yeah. It's a little too comfy to.
Yeah. Do you also use the N word? Because that's what that makes me think.
Just will say anything.
Yeah.
So mom says, I just can't see Ashley being quiet and submissive. And Ashley goes, I feel very stuck in the middle, having to choose between my husband and my family. So now we meet Mohammed. And he says, hi, I'm Mohammed. I grew up in Saudi Arabia and I live in Rochester, New York. He came to America 10 years ago with his twin brother, Abdul, and they opened a grocery store. He says,
I love that. That was their dream. They wanted to open a grocery store and they did it.
I think it's real cute that they've been there 10 years and they're business owners and twin brothers.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Young people that are like, I'm going to do this, and then I do it.
Yeah.
That's hard.
And he says he thinks that Islam is the most beautiful religion, and he's proud to be a devout Muslim. He does not drink. He doesn't eat pork, rather. And he prays 5 times a day just like when he lived in Saudi Arabia. His dad had 2 wives. You are allowed to have up to 4. He grew up very traditional Muslim. And if he was wealthy enough, yeah, why not? He'd have some more wives, and he laughs.
Has
And
he told Ashley that?
that's always a question.
Yeah.
And if he says it was never his dream to marry an American girl, but then he met Ashley. I mean, he was on apps looking for girlfriends. So, I mean,
100%. Did he not specify he wanted a Muslim girl, or was he just looking at other girls and then Ashley popped up? I don't know.
Right. He said she's a smart, amazing, attractive woman, and he fell in love. And at first, he kept her a secret from his family back in Saudi Arabia. No one in his family has ever married a non-Muslim. And he told his brother Abdul about Ashley. And Abdul says, "You're going to bring shame to our family. What are you doing?" All right, y'all, it's summer. We've got to take care of our skin, especially in the summer. That's why I am loving OneSkin. Their products are created by skin longevity scientists and backed up by lab and clinical studies, so you know they work. And I'm not just talking about surface benefits either. Their OS1 peptide, this peptide that targets the zombie cells that cause lines, wrinkles, and sagging skin. That OS1 peptide is scientifically proven to reverse skin's biological age at the cellular level. You guys, who even knew what an OS1 peptide was or what zombie cells were until this product? I'm so excited about it. So whether you're laying out at the beach or like I tried to do last week when I was hit by a tropical storm, or if you're heading out on an actual fun vacation, OneSkin's OS1 powered sunscreens will block those UV rays while targeting the UV induced skin aging that you already have. I love all of their products, but I'm really excited about the new limited edition bundle, the Summer Skincare Essentials. That includes your daily moisturizers and the broad spectrum sunscreens for the face and body. They sent me this bundle and I threw it into my pool bag, and I've been using it every time I go out in the sun. Let me tell you about OneSkin. They were named to Fast Company's list of the world's most innovative companies of 2024, a roster that includes the top companies that are making a positive impact on the world. They combine tissue engineering, data analysis, and cutting-edge longevity science to create the world's most effective products to target skin aging. OneSkin believes the purpose of skincare is not just to improve how we look, but to optimize our skin biology so that it is more resilient to the aging process. This is next level skincare. So as summer continues on, give your skin the UV protection, hydration, and cellular support it needs with OneSkin. OneSkin is more than skincare. It's about skin longevity, targeting the root causes of aging to help you look and feel your best at every age. Get started today with 15% off using code PINKSHADE at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code PINKSHADE. After you purchase, they'll ask you, "Where did you hear about us?" Please support our show and tell them we sent you here from Pink Shade. It's time to expect more from your skincare routine. Invest in the health of your skin with OneSkin. Now, Abdul and Ashley fight a lot. She got mad at him and broke his PlayStation and threw all his stuff out in the yard.
She went full on Angela Bassett. I love it.
Yes. I was like, Angela, I thought you meant like Angela Michael.
She did the same thing. She dismantled his car with her hands.
That's true. So they're talking, excuse my yawn, and Mohammed asked Abdul, like, "Can you forgive Ashley for what she did?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll forgive her for you and Rosie, but not for her. Like, I don't want to be around her." And Abdul goes, "Look, here's the thing. I just feel sorry for my brother because he chose the wrong woman, and also she's crazy."
That's horrible.
Yeah,
he chose the wrong woman.
He chose the wrong woman, and then turns out she's crazy.
Yeah.
And this talking head, Mohammed says, she promised she would convert and be a Muslim wife, but she hasn't done it. Well, we did see her ask for a beef-only hot dog.
Yeah, she's doing pork. Some of the stuff, yeah.
So she's doing some of it. Now, back in Rochester, today is their anniversary. She's left Missouri, gone back to Rochester. Today's their anniversary. The little girl's walking around the bathroom, putting on makeup. It's cute. And they're going out for their anniversary. They're going out alone. And she shows us an abaya, A-B-A-Y-A. Abaya. Thank you. abaya that he got for her, which was really pretty.
Yeah.
And she says, you can see it covers everything and it has a scarf. And he bought this for me, but I've never worn it. She says, I do want to make an effort for him in hopes that he'll make an effort back for me. And my sister's birthday, the one that called him a terrorist, my sister's birthday is coming up. And I want him to go with me to go to her because we can't wait to celebrate that nice woman. What? Why would he want to come?
He wouldn't.
Because they're on
Why
TV?
would she want to go? Because she's rebuilt a relationship with her sister. I guess they didn't speak for like 2 years, but
yeah,
I don't know. Some things are unforgivable.
It's pretty bad. So she arrives to meet him in the park wearing the abaya.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Abaya and the hijab. And he literally cries when he sees her. And he was like, she's like, are you crying?
That was so sweet.
And she says the only time she's ever seen him cry was when they had their baby. And she's like, I didn't know it would mean so much to him, you know? So she says, look, let's talk. I'm wearing this get up because I'm trying to get something from you, okay?
Yeah, don't make it transactional.
That's what she's doing. She says, my sister Jennifer, the one that called you the terrorist, is having a birthday. So I told her we'll come to Missouri. And he goes, no. He says, I made a promise to Allah that I will never set foot in Missouri again.
I don't think Allah cares.
Maybe Allah does. But anyway, in his heart, he's promised.
The whole state is ruined because
the whole state is ruined.
Yeah. Way to go, Jennifer.
People can't go to St. Louis in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he says,
can't see the arch.
Can't go to Kansas City is also in Missouri, but also in Kansas. So he was like, look, here's the thing about Jennifer. She called me a terrorist. And
that's all you have to say.
That's about the worst. He said, that's the worst thing you could call a Muslim. So yeah, I'm not really wanting to go hang out with her. And she goes, I didn't talk to my sister over this for 2 years. And I'm trying to work on the relationship now. And then she goes, and your brother also said some bad things. And he goes, it's not about my brother. We're currently talking about going to see your sister. So don't bring up my brother. And the subject is going to Missouri. And he goes, I'm just not going to face your family. I'm not going there. And she says, if we can't bridge the gap between our families, our marriage is never going to be successful. It is interesting that they live in Rochester and he owns a business with his brother, but she and the brother don't speak either. I mean, that would be rough.
So she's not expected to hang out with the brother?
It doesn't sound like it.
Well, then he shouldn't be expected to hang out with Jennifer. But it is a similar. I didn't like when he was like, it's not about my brother. I was like, well, it kind of is because she wants to bridge all of it.
Yeah.
And she needs to really make an effort with the brother if she wants him to go see Jennifer.
Yeah, exactly.
She needs to become friends with the brother.
She says, look, here's the thing. Abdul hates that I'm not Muslim, that I'm not a Muslim wife. And he's constantly telling Mohammed to divorce me. And okay, we did have a fight and I did smash his PlayStation. So yeah, that would make any person mad. Let me tell you what would happen if I smashed my kid's PlayStation.
Didn't he kick her out of the house though? Like lock her out of her house?
Abdul locked her out of her own home. Yeah.
So that's why she went crazy and tossed out
Yeah, I agree. But I think that she's like, look, I'll try to make it work with your brother if you can try to make it work with my family. At the very least, they should be able to go twice a year and see the family in Missouri. And then, every so often she could hang out with the brother. It doesn't have to be all the time. It just has to be go along to get along. Yeah. For a few hours every month,
Or just don't say you're going to go by yourself.
Yeah, that's true too.
If he's not stopping her, he is not stopping her from going.
No, he's like, go ahead.
Go by yourself and have fun, So maybe that's the solution. He just doesn't have to go to Missouri. But I guess she wants, I don't know. I foresee it being very tense and very horrible. When Jasmine first met Gino's family, and that wasn't even a religious thing,
Well, they were nice to her because
they turned out to be better to her than Gino was. 100%. I love Dana. I love Donna. But it's, I'm picturing one of the most horrible interactions that we've ever seen on any day. I can't think of it right now. But like a sway loose mom.
Yeah.
Give me my money. Like that sort of.
I don't care about the
family.
kids. Give me my money. That's all I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it could be that horrible.
Yeah.
So then I would say just leave him at home and you go twice a year.
That's what I think too. So then we get this season on Forbidden Love. We see Lindsey puts on an Amish outfit, and he comes in and he's wearing an Amish outfit too. And he comes in and he says, "You look like my sister Susie." And she was like,
Okay.
"Ew, does that turn you on?"
Yeah, seriously. Or would you prefer a horse?
Ooh. And then she tells her mom that she put a tracker on his truck and he has stopped at a girl's house again. And she's wondering if she's created a monster.
Jesus.
Laurie's friend and sister is Laurie and Eli. Laurie's friend / sister, somebody says, "Do you have to have sex with a sheep between you?" And she was like, "Wait, what?" Now this is a thing too.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
On your wedding night. I don't think it's all the time, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just on your wedding night.
Yeah, it's a sheep between you. And then she says, in Orthodox Judaism, the man is always supposed to be on top. They're not allowed to do doggy style or anything different than man on top. And then she says, "This might be too much pressure to change my whole entire life." Well, who will know if you, I guess God will know if you do it.
It's funny because he didn't even do all this stuff for a long time. Like,
right.
But now it's important to him. So I guess that's why. But before, like he got tattoos and he did it was drinking and doing, so like it wasn't important to him all the time, but it is now. And
it's interesting that they
can't do it all.
Why can't they find a happy medium? Like she can convert to Judaism, but it doesn't have to be Orthodox,
Well, that's what that's what I feel.
Yeah.
I think any religion, including my own, that goes too extreme is not good.
Yeah.
And to me, it's very extreme. So
this is very extreme. Yes. So Mohammed tells us that because we're showing him eating, and he says you eat with your right hand and your left hand is for the bathroom. So right hand scoop, left hand poop. So we've heard this before. You only eat with your right hand and use your left hand for, wiping in the bathroom. I'd like to know the origin of that as well.
Just before they had sinks everywhere and antibacterial soap, I guess.
Right. I guess
that's the way to avoid disease, is you kept it separate. Like with the plagues, everyone the poop was just out in the street. So this system could work.
Yes. The poop was in the street. That just made my stomach turn.
I'm sorry. You're so squeamish.
I really am. We meet a new couple. It's a Pentecostal preacher's son and a Muslim woman. I do not have their names yet. And the Pentecostals want her to convert. And then we see later on they have a fight in a parking lot because maybe he was talking to another girl. I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're Pentecostal, you're not, no. Mm-mm. You're not, that's speaking in tongues. That's like extreme religion. Like a lot of people go from cults to being Pentecostal. Like that's a step down.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then maybe you could go into like a regular, like super Baptist.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. So we'll see what happens there. That's not going to go well.
No.
And then we see Mohammed, who does actually either go to Missouri or they come to him. And Mohammed tells Ashley's family, "I will never let her go outside half naked. Never, never, never." Because they're like, "What if she wants to wear a crop top and booty shorts?" And he says, "I will never, ever let her go outside half naked. Never, ever, ever." And he also says if Ashley doesn't fully convert, then they cannot continue.
They already have a child. They maybe should have figured this out first.
I feel like that should be the tagline of every show we watch on TLC.
Figure it out first.
Figure that out first before you get married or have a kid or get your families involved. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before you even go to visit that person.
Right.
Google.
Yeah.
Google is your friend.
Yeah. What does it mean to convert? Speaking of, we're coming up, you and I covered HEA for a while, and then I put that over on Patreon without you. God, people are mad. Everybody's mad. Kimberly's mad. Everybody's mad.
I wasn't mad.
But
I love Amy.
I know you do. And then we have The Other Way that we're doing on Tuesdays on the free feed. I did have somebody reach out today and say, like, it's not fair. Now we're not going to get to hear you and Kimberly finish up HEA and I was like, do you understand? We have another month of HEA. We have a 5-part finale and we have a 5-part reunion.
It's really 5 parts?
We are not done with this show until September.
That's crazy. No one needs 5 parts. We thought 3 was excessive.
I know. So I wrote her back. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, girl. I'm sorry. It has moved and it is not a money grab. I'm not trying to get your $5. It is not. I had to move it because we gotta cover what's new over there on the free feed.
You got to do what you got. It's your show.
It's my show. And
I really misunderstood.
Yes. Well, everyone did. That was clearly, I need better messaging.
Thought I wasn't the only one.
No, you weren't the only one.
It was validation for me.
Yeah, it was. I need better messaging.
Okay, so this article says that the sheet sex thing is a misconception.
Okay, and what does it say about the sheet?
That you do not do that. It's a violation of Jewish law. There's some closeness of flesh during sex, so you're not supposed to wear clothing during intercourse, like lingerie. But you're not supposed to use the sheet.
It's interesting too, because I know also regarding the period part, and I learned this from that show, Orthodox, was you have to be in a separate bed. I'm not sure in a separate room, but when the woman's having their period, like they can't even sleep in the same bed together. And that something about hanging a sheet on the ceiling to separate you in the bed. Like if you can't afford 2 beds, you would hang a sheet from the ceiling that they would put down to separate, so you wouldn't like touch in the night while you slept.
Yeah. I apologize if there's any Orthodox Jews listening, but I don't love that. There's like shame around the woman when she has her period.
Oh yeah. Yes, I've told you, and we've talked about this on this show before, and you could look it up since you've got your phone out, but there's a guy who wrote a book called The Year of Living Biblically. And he followed the exact rules of the, what's the word I'm looking for? The Old Testament, right? So you can't wear certain fabrics. And it was a lot of
and you can't mix fabrics.
You can't mix fabrics. You can't, it's certain, like with the period, and the woman is unclean. And so he said he's a very well-known writer, but it's funny, right? Because he would say he carried around pebbles in his pockets. So if he came across an adulterer, he could stone them. Wow. And when his wife, if he knew she was having her period and she would sit at the dinner table with him, he would scream unclean at her.
Wow.
And he was like, these things did not go over well.
No.
It's very funny. And I can't think of the name of the book, but it reminds me a lot of this, like, because they're literally following the Old Testament exactly.
Yeah, which a lot of religions, to me, it was a book written by men a long time ago. And they had their own agendas. So, and a lot of it was keeping women in the backseat.
Right. Yes, I agree with all that. I think that with any religion, you can use what serves you, and then disregard the rest.
Yeah.
If it does, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
What your relationship is with God and all that, and that's personal. So listen, we can't get too deep into this because I don't want to get canceled.
No, I think we're being very respectful.
I do think it's interesting.
Except me, maybe.
No,
you are.
A lot of times when I wasn't very respectful of Pentecostals. I'm sorry. A lot of times when we have the Muslim men come on, they will always say Islam is such a beautiful religion, and they talk about how it's beautiful. And we don't see tons of Muslim men on here that are really, really trying to like keep the woman down. It's more like they're trying to just make sure that they are modest. Mm-hmm. And for them, that's just part of their religion. But it's not like they don't want them to have a job or ever leave the house or
Right. I mean, have been some, but most of the guys we've had on are not. And I understand the mom, she watches the news. And so she hears about things like the woman was stoned because of whatever. Yeah. She's not watching all of the Datelines where a Christian pastor killed his wife so that he could be with a young hottie in his church. So like it happens in all religions. That people misuse religion to do what they want to do or misinterpret, or it happens in every religion. There are some jerk Christians out there, some jerk Jews.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really good point, that there are people in all religions that can misuse religion to do whatever evil they want to do. Mm-hmm. And it could be in the name of religion.
All the time.
All the time. It doesn't have to be a Pentecostal, a Christian, a Catholic. I mean, my God, we could talk about every religion. There's a problem in every religion. So if you're listening here and you think we're focused on one, we're really not, because I could all those things. And even the Amish just then, I mean, I don't consider Amish a religion, but perhaps it is because it's on this show.
Yeah, I think it is. Or is it just like a lifestyle?
I thought it was considered a lifestyle, but I guess if they are considered Christian, but they're not allowed to have sex before marriage. And all these
Amish
things.
Are a Christian group and church fellowship.
Okay.
That's just what Google's telling me.
Yeah, I'd like to know more because I never watched the Amish shows. Did you watch the Amish shows?
Yeah, I did.
Breaking Amish. Mm-hmm. So you know more about the Amish people than I do. I really don't.
Yeah, I did watch that show. I still watch it when it comes on. Or I'll watch I'll fast forward through it. And those people.
And do the people on Breaking Amish, when they leave for their Rumspringa, do most of them end up going back? Or do most of them end up leaving?
Most of them miss it and go back in some capacity. Like they try to go back and do both, but that usually doesn't work. But they really miss their family. They miss the sheltered aspect. Mm-hmm. So most of them, no, I would say like our main core people are all out of it.
Okay. They don't speak to their and they're not allowed to speak to their family anymore?
Yeah. Or they've worked out a rule where they don't do it on camera.
Oh,
but now the show is really like our core people. Well, two or three of them, like helping new people out every season that want to leave or go on their Rumspringa. And then they usually, I don't know, I would say about half and half.
That's interesting to me. That they allow them to leave for 1 year to see if they like it in the outside world and then come back.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept, right? Like,
it is. Because they want you to choose. Right. Choose being in this cult. So you have to leave for a while and do your get your party stuff out of your system. Yeah. And then see if you want to come back. And then it makes you appreciate it more when you come back.
It's also like, do you ever want to talk to your family again or nah?
Yeah, that's
How do you feel about never seeing your parents again? Is that cool with you?
Yeah, and they will ignore you and think that you're going to hell or whatever.
Yeah. This will be interesting. Well, I think the show is going to be really good, and I'm glad that you're discussing it with me.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about a new show too. And next week, whatever the song is, I think it's "Tainted Love" will be the song next week. I'll have that here to play, but for now, I'll play us out with this fabulous song by Meatloaf. Here comes the laugh. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.